ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Namaste and good morning to one and all present here. I, Jinal Patel, welcome you all to today's morning assembly. Today is 29 July, Thursday, and a Gujarati Tithi Pramane આજે અષાઢ વદ છઠ છે. The theme for today's assembly is nature and environment. World Nature Conservation Day is celebrated on 20th of July every year to address the very important topic of conservation of nature. The day encourages people to save and protect Earth's natural resources that are fast depleting owing to overexploitation and even misuse. The fact that there is a day like this tells us that Earth needs our care and love. Let us take a day out of our lives to think about our only home, our planet Earth, and focus on ways to improve it.
Jinal will be sharing a speech on medical waste, including a few ways of how people can safely dispose it from their homes.
Infectious waste is characterized as any material that is suspected to contain pathogens in sufficient concentration. In response to COVID-19, hospitals, healthcare facilities, and individuals are producing more waste than usual, including masks, gloves, and other protective equipment that could be infected with the virus. There is also an increase in the number of single-use plastics being produced. Safely managing domestic and medical waste is crucial to successfully containing the disease. When not managed soundly, infectious waste could be subject to uncontrolled dumping, leading to public health risks and release of toxins in the environment. Here are a few ways how people can dispose waste safely from their homes. Sharp items. Needles and needle pens should be contained in a sharp container and then can be put in regular trash. Cloth items. Gloves and bandages contain blood or other bodily fluids. Put them into plastic bags before disposing them. Medicines. Some waste management experts recommend mixing medicines with unused coffee ground or cat litter before disposing them. Thank you.
Heta is giving a small speech on importance of nature in human life and a few ways of environmental conservation.
I am Heta and I am going to talk about the importance of nature in human's life. Basically, we humans are alive just because of the nature around us. From the food we eat to the water we drink, or even medicines for that fact, every resource to us is provided by nature. Still, in a recent survey that was conducted in the UK, 7 out of 10 people admitted that they have lost the touch with nature. We know nature is so important in our lives because every breath we take contains oxygen, which is provided to us by the nature. Still, in news, we see where deforestation takes place on a very large scale, where huge chunks of forests are cut down because of new architectural development and industrial growth. At this point in time, around the world, I think nature conservation should be promoted on a very large scale because of such rising issues like global warming, deforestation, or even depletion of natural resources for that matter. A few ways of nature conservation can be composting, rainwater harvesting, carbon footprint, saving natural resources, etc. Composting is when you use kitchen waste such as remnants of tea or even your vegetable peels for that matter as fertilizers for your plants in your own garden or around your society, which will even give nutrients to the plants and it will even not be waste and harm the environment. Secondly, rainwater harvesting, you can use it and give it to your plants in the house or even use it for chores such as cleaning the dishes or even cleaning your car, which will save the water and it will not lead to depletion of natural resources. Such small initiatives should be taken to create an impact on a larger scale. To conclude, I would like to say that everything to us is given by nature, so we should conserve the nature and not waste the resources that are given to us. Thank you.
Sakshi and Priya will be presenting an excerpt from the speech of the UN Secretary General while presenting at UN Environment Program.
Namaste. We are going to present an excerpt from the speech of United Nations Secretary General presented by him in the UN Environment Program. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to be here. I just came from Somalia and I was in Mogadishu and Baidoha. I think I have just witnessed how in today's world we see the combination of conflict with environmental degradation. Environmental degradation largely accelerated by climate change. There's two factors that are becoming more and more interlinked and with devastating consequences for the population. Of course, people can say we always had drought. Drought is not a new phenomenon. There was always also problems of desertification in different parts of the world. Natural disasters have always happened. But what climate change has produced, and you know it better than me, is an acceleration of all other factors. Combination with the population growth, with food insecurity, with water scarcity, with urbanization. So all these mega trends are becoming more and more interlinked. Climate change being, in my opinion, the main accelerator of these interlinkages, and with devastating humanitarian consequences.
Natural disasters are becoming more and more frequent, more intense, with more terrible humanitarian consequences. But it is the slow onset of change that we are witnessing in some parts of the world that is creating a tremendous change in the capacity of entire regions of the world to sustain human life. I have launched last week a big appeal in the relation to four situations in the world. With this combination of drought and conflict are creating already what technically is considered to be famine, or creating situations that are on the verge of famine. But there is nothing worse than technical definitions. Because people die of hunger even if famine is not declared. It's a technical group of indicators. But what we have seen and what I have seen in Somali, where famine has not yet been declared, is the dramatic impact of malnutrition, hunger, together with, and there is a serious water problem and water quality problem, where quick spreading of diarrhea and cholera that is killing a large number of people. So we have a perfect storm, a conflict, drought, and linked to the drought, environmental conditions that are creating the widespread of diseases. that are causing more and more victims. Now, I don't need to explain how important it is for this assembly to commit to the Paris Agreement on climate change.
For this assembly to commit to all other aspects in which the preservation of our environment is an absolute crucial aspect, both for peace and security. Competition for natural resources is one of the factors that is undermining global peace. And competition for natural resources is largely influenced by the megatrends I have mentioned. So, my appeal for your strong commitment to the Paris Agreement on climate change and to enhance the ambition that was possible in Paris.
It's not enough. We know we need to go even further, and also to convey to your governments the need to have a massive support to those situations in the world in which we are witnessing devastating humanitarian consequences. We have just appealed last week for massive contributions to the 4 countries where we are on the verge of declaring famine. But more than that, we need to make sure that we link humanitarian relief to building resilience of communities and of societies, which is also linked to investing in adaptation to climate change and to a number of other aspects in which it's also absolutely crucial that the financial commitment that were made by the international community, namely in the context of Paris and in the context of Addis Ababa, are fully met.
Parv is going to talk about harmful effects of space tourism and its information in Gujarati.
નમસ્તે. તો મિત્રો, ફાઇનલી શરૂ થઈ ગઈ છે આ દોડ. હા, હું વાત કરી રહ્યો છું સ્પેસ ટુરિઝમ વિશે. આ દોડના સ્પર્ધકો એટલે કે રિચર્ડ બ્રેન્સન, જેફ બેઝોસ અને ઇલોન મસ્કે ગગનચુંબી વિમાન અને રોકેટ બનાવ્યા છે. આ 3 વ્યક્તિઓ એટલે કે દુનિયાના સૌથી અમીર માણસો કહેવાય, તેઓ શા માટે આ દોડમાં ભાગ લીધો હશે? શા માટે તેઓ આ સુંદર પૃથ્વીમાં કાર્બન એમિશન ભેગું કરી રહ્યા છે? અને તે પણ આવી એક મનોરંજક અનુભવ માટે? શા માટે આપણે ભૂલી રહ્યા છીએ કે આપણા મનોરંજન પાછળ આપણા સંતાનોનું ભવિષ્ય નષ્ટ થઈ રહ્યું છે? આપણે લોકોએ અત્યાર સુધીમાં 1.5 અબજ ટન કાર્બન ડાયોક્સાઇડ આપણા પર્યાવરણમાં દાખલ કરી ચૂક્યા છીએ. અને આ સ્પેસ ફ્લાઇટ બાદ દર ટ્રીપમાં આપણે વધારે 12 કિલો કાર્બન ડાયોક્સાઇડ દાખલ કરીશું, જેના લીધે ઓઝોન લેયર કે જે આપણને સૂર્યના આકરા કિરણોથી બચાવે છે તે નષ્ટ થવા લાગશે. આ સાધનોમાંથી નીકળતું હાનિકારક તત્વો પર્યાવરણને બગાડવાની સાથે સાથે માણસોના ફેફસાના રોગ પણ ઉત્પન્ન કરે છે. હવે મેં તમને સ્પેસ ટુરિઝમ વિશેના ફાયદા ગેરફાયદા તો સમજાવી દીધા. શું તમારે આ અનુભવ લેવો જોઈએ કે નહીં તે તમારા હાથમાં છે. આભાર.
Zahee will be presenting a poem about nature's cry of hope for a better world, a normal world where nature had its place, both in French and in English.
Viendra les pluies douces, il viendra les pluies douces, l'odeur de la terre, et des cercles de rondelles stridulants dans le ciel, des grenouilles de la mer qui chanteront la nuit, et les pluies sauvages palpitant de blancheur. Les rouges gorges ont flotté le feu, siffleront à loisir, perchés sous ce cloître. Et la personne se rien de la guerre qui fait rage. Nul se s'inquiéter quand le viendra la fin. Nul se souciera qu'ils sont âpres ou oiseaux, de voir exterminer jusqu'à le dernier des hommes. Et le printemps lui-même, on se vient au lobe, ne supposera même que nous sommes partis. Will come soft rain. There will come soft rain and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling in shimmering sound, and frogs in the pool singing at night, and wild plum trees in their tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, and whistling their whims in the low fence wire. And no one will know, not one of war, not one will care at last when it's done. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone.
Priyansh will be reciting a poem on environmental awareness in Spanish and then translate it to English.
Hola, yo soy Priyansh. Conciencia ambiental. De las infinitas cosas bellas provee la madre tierra, de las aguas, de los ríos, de las valles y las sierras, de las plantas, de las flores, de frondes verdes bosques, las especies animales, las cascadas y los mares. Pero de tristeza y pena el hombre no se da cuenta, derribando a los árboles. Nos destruyen el planeta y mueren los animales, desplando en la tierra de todas sus cosas bellas. Nuestra madre está llorando, sus hijos no la respetan. Se escucha el grito del suelo, clamando que la protejan. Paremos con todo esto antes que la tierra muera. Preservemos nuestro ambiente, cuidemos nuestro planeta. Gracias.
Namaste everyone. The poem that Priyansh just talked about, the title is Conciencia Ambiental from Arjona Delia, is a beautiful poem in Spanish divided in three important parts. The first part of the poem is talking about how the earth where we live is so beautiful and how we human beings are surrounded by so beautiful things around: water, rivers, animals, flowers, trees, the beauty of our nature. The second part of the poem is how we human beings are destroying our own house, our own planet. How our Mother Earth is just crying and suffering a lot for whatever is happening all over the world right now. And the third part of the poem is a call that the author is giving us in order to do our best to protect our planet. There's only one, we don't have anyone more, and we have the responsibility of taking care of it. Thank you.
The next presentation is given by Rakshit and Ranveer, where they are having a conversation about plastic waste management.
Hey, where are you coming from?
Nothing, just bought some veggies.
Cool, but
But what?
why are you carrying it in a plastic bag?
Yeah, so what? I just forgot to bring one from my home.
But you know, right? We should avoid using plastic bags. It's harmful for the environment.
Oh, shut up. You sound like an old wise Chinese woman.
Okay, then do whatever you want, but you'll surely regret it later.
Person 2 comes home and watches YouTube video. Gets shocked to see aquatic animals suffer from plastic bags. Next day.
Hey, what happened? You seem off a bit.
It's nothing. I just saw a video on YouTube about how it feels to be an aquatic animal stuck in a plastic bag and some facts related to it.
So now you get it, right? Imagine the same plastic bag you got ending up there.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I should have been more careful.
Yeah, and anyways, using a cloth bag is far better than involving plastic into the ecosystem.
Both friends go to the beach and help clean the environment by collecting plastic bags.
Sanjana is sharing news related to advancements in environmental conservation in the world of motorsports and Formula One.
Hi everyone, today I'll be talking about advancements in environmental conservation in the world of motorsport and Formula One in hindsight of World Nature Conservation Day, which was yesterday. So first and foremost, individual drivers' contributions towards fighting against climate change is Lewis Hamilton, who is a 7-time world champion and the poster boy of Formula One, who is a strong advocate for the agenda of veganism as well as any sort of cruelty against animals and humans. He is also a massive supporter of the Extreme E-Racing series, which is a carbon neutral and all electric racing championship where he has his own team called X44. And not only him but even his former teammate Nico Rosberg, he is a he's a massive supporter of fighting against climate change and has his own team RXR in the same racing championship. Moving on, we'll talk about how other teams and championships are fighting against this issue. So first and foremost, we have the introduction of Formula E World Championships, which was inaugurated back in 2014 and is now slowly gaining a lot of popularity. So these are basically electric car single-seater racing championships, just like Formula One, except for the fact that they use electric engines over here. So I feel like if it maintains this sort of fan base, it has the ability to replace electric engines in other motorsports as well. And last but not the least, we have engine supplier Honda, who provides to Red Bull Racing and Scuderia Alpha Tauri in Formula One. And they recently announced that they'll be pulling out of Formula One at the end of the 2021 season, which is a massive step towards their agenda of achieving lower carbon emissions, as well as focusing towards new technology such as electric engines. Thank you, and I hope you learned something new today.
As this assembly highlights the importance of nature and environmental factors around us, it's very important to think that we have forgotten how to be good guests, how to walk earth lightly as other creatures do. This quote was given by Barbara Ward, and it makes me reflect upon this. Despite knowing the damage that's been done, or the current situation of the earth because of us, do we stop ourselves? Do we change our habits? And why? Why do we just stop at ideation and never refuse to implement? What stops us? Socho.